Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another week of Behind Enemy Lines, the football podcast where three football fans who live in a respective region are not fans of the home team, so to speak. I am DT, the host of this. I'm the resident Arizona Cardinals fan who lives in New England. I'm joined, as always, by our miserable New England Jet fan, Jason Yaz, our less miserable Buccaneers fan, Ryan Cox, and our Philly connection, but a Giants fan in Mario. How are you boys doing this week?
Yo, what's up?
Hanging in. I'm hanging in there.
The Giants fan's the only one whose team got a win on the board this week, and that was not what I wanted, and I'm trying to stay cool. We'll get into it later.
I'll gaslight you later.
Oh, I am so not looking forward to it. But congrats on your team winning, Mario.
Thanks a lot, man.
Appreciate that. And I know a lot of our fans who live in the area are definitely very pumped that they beat us this week. Luckily, I haven't really heard from anybody, so that's been kind of nice. But I haven't really gotten an earful, but we'll get into that when we start talking about all the crap that happens.
You want to know how I'm doing? You didn't ask me.
I said, how is everybody doing? And you didn't say anything, so I assume
Jay, no one cares.
Oh, come on. No, come on, Jay. We got to get your feelings
We
in.
see the Jets jersey on you. We know how you're feeling.
Yeah.
I'm feeling amazing. Tank for Trevor.
It's in full swing. Real quick, I saw that he was going to declare, so that's exciting. He's intending on declaring, so we'll see what happens with that.
Just remember that the Jags are sucking really hard too, so you have to stay perfect.
Yeah,
They sure are.
Keep up the good work.
The clean
There's no
sheet.
suck like Jets suck, so I think I'm all right.
It is
And the Jags
suck.
And the Jags just named their worst quarterback their starter.
Mm-hmm.
That's
What
rough.
does that tell you?
That's rough. We can talk about that in a little bit, but I want to recap this week in football. It's been a crazy one. One of the main things I want to talk about is obviously we finally got that football game in between the Ravens and Pittsburgh. And I guess it was what I expected. Good divisional game. Didn't really wow me, but I also didn't catch all of it. What did you guys think of the game? Think of the circumstances surrounding that game? Just some general thoughts. What are we thinking, Jay?
I thought it was better than honestly, it was way better than I thought it was going to be. With Jackson out, I thought it was going to be an absolute curb stomp from the Steelers. I didn't think it was going to be remotely close. But I mean, it's a divisional game. It's probably the best rivalry in the NFL right now. So I'm not super surprised, but again, kind of surprised. As far as pushing the game back to Wednesday, I don't really know why the Broncos had to play a quarterback from the practice squad, but they kept trying to push the Steelers-Ravens game out. That kind of weirded me out a bit. I don't know. I'm sure Cox has some stats for me on that one.
Yeah, Cox.
I'm not that's just feeling.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. In terms of the difference between the Broncos situation and the Ravens situation, the Ravens situation was a full-on team outbreak. Obviously their own doing still, but the Broncos, it was pretty much just the quarterback room. And this year, more than any other year, has shown that it's extra difficult to play in the NFL because you're not just battling every other team, you're battling the COVID virus. You're battling COVID-19. So other teams have taken the measure of having one quarterback on the team completely separate from everybody else, just in case this happens.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucs are doing it. Other teams are doing it.
I think most teams are doing it.
The Broncos, I'm sorry, we got to play the games. That's on you. Sorry. I mean, let's be real. You suck anyway. So, but at the end of the day, it's on you. If it happened, even if it happened to the Steelers, I would still be it's on you.
Mm-hmm. I have a quick just comment about that. I will bet all my money that Blake Bortles is the one who fucked up and brought that into the room. I would bet the farm on him being the one who's like, whoops, my bad.
I
Did
would
I do that?
I got a feeling in my bones. Mario, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm pretty much in the same line as Cox, where it's the show must go on. The NFL is really trying to make sure everything's rolling along, and they really tried to push it out as much as they could. As far as the game itself, with Pittsburgh and the Ravens, I didn't think it was going to be a blowout. The Steelers, I think they're the most. I don't know. How do I explain it? How do I phrase this? They're the most mediocre 11-0 team I have ever seen.
Mm.
I mean, the Giants should have beat them week 1. Daniel Jones with his hiccups, and just look at all their games. I mean, really, they haven't really overwhelmed anybody. So I mean, to me, when teams are behind the 8 ball where somebody has COVID, I put that on them just making sure that you have guys out there that are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Practice, you go home, you dedicate yourself to the so-called bubble, and when there's things going on like that, it's just I blame it on the players, and I blame it on the team for not keeping track of their guys. It's just there's no excuse for all 3 quarterbacks to be out, a la Denver. There's no reason for that. So I put it on them. They have themselves to blame.
Yeah.
I think my point was more or less that not that I think it was that the NFL is more consistent with how they handle these delays and everything. I guess it's the heart of what I was getting at.
Yeah, because they pushed the game back. Obviously, yes, it was a team outbreak or whatever, but they pushed the game back almost a full week. And that's because it was supposed to be some sort of primetime highlight game between 2 good teams. And it's the inequality of that versus, you're talking about Lamar Jackson versus Drew Lock here, essentially. And that, I think that.
Although Jackson hasn't been that great this year, so
no, but but he's a star. He's league MVP reigning. That has some pull. I think it's tough. I think one of the other reasons it happened that way is because that was such an oddball game. It was a Thanksgiving game originally, anyway. So it made the scheduling weird as opposed to the Broncos playing on Sunday. It's it's a Sunday game. It's not out of the ordinary, and they had to keep that because. We've already seen even moving just that one game screwed up a bunch of other scheduling things. We had no Thursday game this week as a result of that. So it's this domino effect, and we were already moving one of the dominoes. So if you I understand that doing that too much, the whole house of cards falls down. So it's not easy, and I'm not.
But it's a house they built. There's nothing stopping them from just extending the season.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're stuck in their own constraints. There's no reason they can't just say, well, we're adding a week.
Well, potentially. I don't know how TV deals work. It could be a thing where they would then have to,
I would watch it on Twitch Live or something like that.
No, I know.
And I think everyone on every network knows that. Then people are going to watch the NFL no matter what. Mm-hmm. And the NFL absolutely they have their own network. They can just put it on NFL Network.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just might be logistical. I was just trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate, but I understand what you're saying.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm just saying. All I was saying is that they're stuck in the constraints that they made themselves.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I like
See,
that people.
Hold on. I don't think it's necessarily all their constraints. You have to remember that this is a collective bargaining between both the NFL and the NFLPA. So if the NFLPA doesn't want their players to have an extended season, a lot of these contracts are set for a certain time period. Mm-hmm. So the NFLPA, they have to negotiate this. If they're going to extend the season out, then that's a longer time that players are putting on extra risk. Are they practicing during those times? It is a huge logistical thing, because if they're going to want to do that as the NFL, the NFLPA is going to be okay, well, give us something.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair point.
It's a hugely politicized thing between the two of them.
I think they should have and this obviously hindsight's 2020. I think they should have planned for the extra week, in the preseason. and try to get like you said, the NFLPA behind them, because that's a really good point. I didn't really actually think of that.
Yeah,
they're constantly at odds with each other,
Mhm.
and that's gonna stop them from, like, you would think, considering what we just had this last week, you would think the NFL would be telling teams now to start doing a bubble, and it's like, no, because the NFLPA is going to step in and be like, no, our players don't want to do that. That's not in the interest of the players.
Yeah.
So, once the playoffs start, then that's a little different, because then players have their checks.
Yeah.
Like
Just
everything else.
Just to piggyback off what you were talking about earlier, Cox, was I just saw like the Giants this past week actually brought in another quarterback, but he's a virtual quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just for virtual meetings. The guy is just an emergency guy. He's there.
Yeah.
He's ready if you need it. So I think this is the whole Broncos thing is just, it's setting a whole new precedent with everybody across the board in the NFL.
Yeah, 100%. I was seeing a lot of articles about that. They're calling them their designated survivor quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they have these people. Apparently, it ranges from like, guys who haven't played since high school to like to like old pros. I was reading a little bit of an article about like these certain teams are like finding these people. It's like the emergency goalie in hockey is what they're doing is the best thing I can compare it to.
I think Josh McCown was the emergency guy was it Philly?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Philly, something like that. But McCown he's got like a $12 million contract to be ready or something.
Yeah.
It's insane.
He's just chilling at his mansion in like Texas or something, and then just waiting for the
Dude's
call.
got it made.
Yeah, what a guy.
Listen,
I love me some Josh
sign
McCown.
me up. I can throw the ball about 40 yards.
Why can't I be quarterback?
I got a Chad Pennington arm. I'm like deadly accurate from about 10 yards in.
I can dink and dunk if you want me.
Give it to the guy that runs it.
Yeah, I can throw a screen.
Yeah, let's all try to get them contracts. I think that should be our goal.
Hell yeah.
F the rest of this. Any more thoughts on that game? The other major thing I want to talk about, if there's nothing more with the Broncos, is in the game that everybody picked, the easy slam dunk that we all thought, the Falcons rinsed the goddamn Raiders.
Ooh.
It was not close.
Oh my God.
What the hell happened there? Like, I don't even understand.
Wow.
Like, nobody saw that coming. But this is what bothers me is I watched last episode back and I was like, the Ravens, sometimes they're that team that'll sneak up on you and just blow up, and you'll like they'll win a game that you don't expect them to. But I was like, but not this year, not this version of the Falcons. And I immediately eat my words because they did it that same week. But that was really something. Do we think now, because this is what the Falcons do, they have a history of doing this, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs or anything, but do we turn around and start respecting the Falcons again? Or like what state do we think that franchise is in? Because it's been so confusing all year.
I think it was go ahead, Cox.
No, go ahead. It's all you.
I think it was really just a blip for the Raiders. Listen, you look at the game. Carr has 3 fumbles. Okay, 3 fumbles in the game. And a pick. All right. I mean, it was just one of those bad games. Chalk it up. Everybody has one. Everybody has one of those games where you just come out flat. And I mean, that tells it all right there. I mean, Carr was, 215 passing yards, 1 interception, and 3 fumbles. I mean, you're not going to win a game with turnovers. You're just not. So to me, it was just one of those games, and the Falcons just capitalized off those turnovers. They scored on I think on every one of those turnovers. Yeah. And boom, before you know it, you're behind the 8 ball and you're not coming back.
100%. And the Raiders, it's like the perfect storm because, like I said, the Falcons are that team that'll get you when you don't expect it. But the Raiders also have that history of just absolutely flubbing one every once in a while. So it was a perfect kind of storm in that situation. Coxie, you had some stuff to say.
Yeah. So I think another thing with this game that we're forgetting is, and this is a little Buccaneers history, is when the Buccaneers they wanted to get rid of John Gruden, and Raheem Morris was the D coordinator. The ownership went to him and pretty much like we're thinking of doing this. Are you okay? Would you want this job? Do you want to be the head coach? And they fired John Gruden after Raheem Morris pretty much said, yes, I would take it. So straight up replaced him. And I don't think John Gruden ever really let that go. John Gruden's, I feel like he's a man who holds grudges. And I think he wanted to come out and prove something. I think Raheem Morris basically told him to sit the hell down. Sit the fuck down. Raheem Morris is auditioning right now for this job. And he is a serious candidate. He is a good coach. Their next games are the Saints, Chargers, Bucks, Chiefs, Bucks. He's got to find a way, I think, to win at least 2 of those games.
I see one, maybe.
If he can beat the Chargers. But I seriously think he can beat the Buccaneers once. I really, really do. And I think it's going to be the last. I think it's going to be the last game of the year, and I think that's going to set the Bucks up badly for the playoffs.
Yeah, because it's gonna kick them out of the playoffs. No,
Yeah.
maybe unlikely, but
I don't think that. But yeah, I think like he's coaching for this job, and I think they're going to be a much better defensive team going forward. He brings something different to the table, and I think it's going to allow them to be a little bit more free flowing offensively. And I think you're going to see signs of them moving forward. And next year, like we'll see. But for right now, I think going forward for this season, you'll see them be a better football team.
Yeah, I've liked him and the job he's done. I do think he's a legit contender to keep that job. I think it does come down to, I think that was a statement win against the Raiders. They're a playoff team. They're good. If he can snag another one against like a Bucks or like, God forbid, the Chiefs, if that's the Chiefs' blemish, that's a statement win that probably seals him that job. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's a lot of factors there. Any more thoughts on this weird Falcons win before I go on? And
Well, I mean, you haven't asked my opinion, so I mean,
what do you? You fucking don't contribute, and everybody else is flowing in.
The whole format of this podcast has been Coxie go, Jay go,
Jason,
Mario
crowbar
go.
that shit.
You
Crowbar
never,
that shit.
you never
Go like this.
No.
Push us all out of the way. Come on, man.
I was waiting for my turn. That's how we always do it.
The floor
So anyway,
is
I
yours.
have more things to say. No, I'm just kidding, Jay. Go ahead.
The floor is yours.
You're shit, you know that? No, I truth be told, I didn't actually watch this game, so I had to look at the stats. That
I
being
want to
said,
talk. I didn't watch the game. Fuck off.
when I was looking at the offensive stats and the defensive stats, I was like, how the fuck did the Falcons score 43 points in this game? Like, I just didn't. It didn't make sense.
Oh,
Didn't
all
add
the
up.
turnovers.
Were the turnovers like all in the red zone? Is that how that worked?
Yeah, they were like really bad turnovers.
Yeah,
Okay,
they were
all
all
It was
really bad.
ridiculous.
And just want to comment on Coxie's point. I love some good rivalry history, so I really appreciated that.
Yeah, that was some cool extended lore.
Do I think it's his job? No, I don't. I think the Falcons are going for the top guy.
Pianami.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, I think the Falcons.
Oh, yeah.
Because how old is Matty Ice now? He's got to be like what,
He's
38?
mid-30s.
He's mid-30s, I think.
It's like
So he's still
32,
good.
33.
There's
No,
a
he's
lot of
still in
quarterbacks.
that.
There's a lot of quarterbacks where you're gonna have to start asking like good veteran quarterbacks, that last bunch where you're just like, do you still go? Like, do you still stick with them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll get into another one later.
Here's
Yeah.
a quick
Yeah.
fact. Here's a quick fact from the game. David Carr, 31 lost fumbles, more than any player since 2014. That's not quarterbacks. Any player in the NFL.
Wow.
Derek Carr?
Yep.
You said
No,
his brother David, who I would
David
also
Carr.
believe that
I
stat
meant
for.
Derek Carr.
You said his brother David, which I would also
The guy
believe is
who
a stat.
played the other
believe that,
night.
He just doesn't.
31 turnovers.
Unbelievable.
That's actually kind of a little surprising.
A little bit.
Not gonna lie.
He's an interesting case study, Derek Carr. I like him. I think he's a fine quarterback, but then stuff like
So
that
I mean,
happens.
before we wrap this one up, I guess the question is, do they stick with Derek Carr no matter what next season?
Ooh, that's a good one because they were just
Kinda
talking
have to.
about that the other day. I think that Gruden is always looking. Gruden's like the guy at the beach with sunglasses on with his wife, and there's a bunch of chicks walking by, and he's like, you can't see his eyes. You can't see his eyes, but he's going like this, and that's Gruden. He's always looking for the next thing.
He is.
So I wouldn't put it past him to draft a quarterback and still stick with Carr, but if he's not acting right, hey, I wouldn't put it past him to kick him to the side and kick the tires on a new guy.
Yeah, it's going to be weird with where they're generally projected to be in the draft.
Yeah,
They're bottom third probably if they get into the playoffs there. So
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a very strong QB draft either.
right. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe John Gruden also, he's made some insane moves over there to like make shit happen. So I wouldn't put anything past the guy who got rid of Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack. So,
Yeah.
It still made it work, kind of.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's odd.
Yeah.
So I think anything's possible over there. He might trade for Pat Mahomes for all we know. I highly doubt it, but anything's on the table with that maniac. So
Here's my firstborn son.
yeah. I might take the deal. While we were talking about coaches, I'm just going to pepper this in there. I was going to go somewhere else first, but I'm going to pepper this in. Matt Patricia is out as Detroit head coach, and they also relieved their GM of their duties. Not crazy surprising. I kind of like Matt Patricia, so I feel a little bad, but I mean, he wasn't getting it done. Really, that Lions team, you never knew what you were going to get. Like, again, they beat good teams this year, like us. They've had some stinkers. They're that like, well, Detroit generally as a franchise the last ever has been kind of a disaster. But is this just another in a long line of that? Where do they go from here? I actually don't even know. I'm going to need you guys' help on this. Like, who's the interim coach?
It is. I have it up here.
Oh, it's Darrell Bevel.
Darrell Bevel.
Oh, I like him.
I've got a lot on this. So this was best for everybody. Patricia was 13-29-1 in 3 years. Oh, a little under 3 years. And Quinn was 31-43-1 as the general manager. Quinn thought it a good idea to fire a coach who was 9-7 for 2 years, Caldwell.
Yeah, Jim Caldwell.
Fired 9-7 for 2 years. So if you're going to do that as the GM, whoever you bring in, you're now tied to their job. Mm-hmm. He brought in Patricia. That didn't work. So you have to fire them both. You went from being a 9-7 football team to like a 5-11 team. Like, wow.
That's not the right direction.
No. So Darrell Bevel will be the interim. Expect Detroit to get a bump in play just because there are a lot of players that didn't like Matt Patricia at all. So I feel like they're going to, do a little bit better, play a little more free. And Darrell Bevel wants to make the team fun again. Mm-hmm. So I think you'll see more offense out of them for sure. But as far as where they're looking to go, one of the things that happened over the week was that a group of Michigan legislators sent a letter to the owner, Sheila Ford Hamp, urging her to hire the San Francisco defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh.
Yeah, I saw that.
So there's that. But other than that, I haven't really heard it. It's just like the regular people, but that's a weird endorsement to get from your state legislators, but it's something, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe he's homies with somebody in the Senate. You don't know. Worked out for Anakin Skywalker.
That's true.
Great. Jason, king of the podcast, what are your thoughts?
Oh, go ahead, Jason. You got it.
Is it my turn? Can I speak now?
Yes.
Cox actually stole like literally all my points. But no, I did. I did.
Jumped in and went with it.
No, I did see that from the state legislature, which I don't know if you saw that interview with Sherman. I think it was like last week, talking about So I love that though. He was like, he's a leader of men. Like he was giving, like, you know how Sherman's usually like kind of a dick in interviews.
Mm-hmm.
He was giving him his full endorsement, saying like, this guy's a leader of men. He's going to be the best head coach in the NFL in like 5 years, like all this stuff. And I remember like even last year, like, because I read all the Jets blogs and shit. They're like, if they fire Gase, which they didn't, who do we want? And pretty much every single one had him like top 5, just because he's widely regarded as being like that leader, kind of like the guy in Miami now.
What's his name? Brian Flores.
Yes, Brian Flores. He was widely regarded as being like a leader of men. So I think there's some weight behind it. I think that they're gonna look, because he's a Michigan guy. I think that's why the legislator was Sure. But yeah, in Detroit, if you go 13, 29-1, that they have a history of losing, you're gonna want to kind of, let's see something else. Let's get going. Especially going back to back 9-7, then you fire a coach like that probably doesn't sit right with the fan base.
That franchise is in such a weird state of flux because now those guys are gone. Stafford's not getting any younger. Like what?
Oh, Adam Schefter reported that there's a very good chance Stafford gets traded this offseason.
Weird.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Yeah, like I said,
off the bat, who takes him? Where's he go?
New England?
Potentially.
Well, I guess you can. Yeah, anybody looking for a quarterback, I guess you're going to throw. I mean, a quarterback looking for a home, you're going to say New England.
Mm-hmm.
How many years are on his deal? On Stafford's remaining.
Off the top of my head, I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
If you're Tampa, do you trade Tom Brady for Matthew Stafford?
No.
That would be perfect. Brady ends his career in Detroit. For it.
But then Arians gets the deep ball thrower he wants. He gets the gunslinger he wants.
Throw Chicago in the mix for stuff.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't
think Detroit would trade.
No, I don't think they trade in the division.
Well, he still has time left on his contract, so he wouldn't be a free agent.
No. He still has.
Okay. The whole Matt Patricia thing is crazy because do I think he's a bad coach? I don't. I think there's, and maybe I'm wrong, but my personal opinion, I think there's a lot of people in, as far as players in that organization, that they just don't want to be coached. There's a lot of ex-Giants on that team that, listen, they've known to be bad apples. They don't like. I don't know if Snacks is still on that team, but I know he was on. Harrison, he was on that team. There's a couple other guys that are on the Kennard. There's a couple other guys on that team that went. That's why the Giants let him go, because they're just not team players.
I disagree. He's a former Jet great team player for
Listen,
Jet.
I loved him, but he was causing trouble in the locker room. He was causing trouble in the locker room, and I loved him. He's a great player.
Yes,
I think they just didn't buy in. They didn't buy in, and that's important. A coach needs to establish himself, whether it be he's out there on the field, running with the guys, or he's or his words come across and they buy in. I can only speak for my experience while covering the Giants so closely. Joe Judge out there, doing drills, being held accountable for anything. And I just think Patricia just didn't do it from day one. He just didn't have the voice in the locker room. Yeah. And I think that was because I think the guy is smart. Obviously, he comes from a smart tree, a coaching tree. He just didn't reach out to the guys, and they just didn't feel what he was trying to sell them.
Yeah.
I think you saw that too when he was feuding with Darius Slay. Like when that became like a big thing, I feel like that was a huge turning point in that locker room, and everyone was just like, all right, well, we just lost our best corner.
Our best player, maybe.
Yeah,
cool, thanks.
A lot of people like Slay from the player's perspective. So alienating a guy like that is tough for any coach. I think 100%. Where do y'all?
I think he tried to be Belichick, and then he wasn't Belichick.
Exactly.
You can try to be Belichick, but
you have to still bring your own personality.
exactly like a lot of people were saying. Oh, Joe Judge is. I know Shannon Sharp came out saying, "Oh well, how dare he try to make the coaches run and the players run for mistakes?" And guess what? You can say whatever you want from the outside, Shannon Sharp or whoever the heck you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's working. People respect Joe Judge. He's got that team ready to play, even though they don't have a lot of talent. He has them. He has them ready to play. So there's players out there that are on that tree. Look at Flores. Flores is on the Belichick tree, and he's cut from that cloth. There's a couple of them that are there, and then there's some of them like say Romeo Crennel. They just can't. It's about personality.
Excuse you, Romeo Crennel beat Belichick a couple weeks ago. I will not have Romeo Crennel slander in this dojo.
Sure did.
I'm slandering him. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
I like Romeo.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I want to put a pin on this by saying, or asking you guys, what happens to Matt Patricia? Where's he go? What's he do?
Coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where at?
Ooh, who needs a coordinator? Who's a D coordinator?
San Francisco.
That's
New York
Well, they're
Jets.
gonna.
to replace Salah.
Yeah.
That's a good. I love the guesses, but basically, put a blindfold on, put the teams that need coordinators, and just pin the tail on the coordinator.
Personally, I'd love to have him as the D coordinator in Arizona.
Yeah, you do need one.
We're middling at best. I don't love the guy we have, which is rough because we had some good guys in the past. I love Todd Bowles back in the Dizzy.
You don't want James Betcher back?
Not really. I don't have anything to say about it.
Super sure.
You mean you don't want Zone Betcher?
Zone Betcher?
No, I sure don't. I think he'd be a cool fit with Cliff Kingsbury as well. I think that'd be a cool dynamic because I think he would add things that Cliff maybe doesn't. Maybe a little more. I don't know what, but I think for some reason that combination like feels good to me. So I'd like to see him there, but I think it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. I don't like you guys. I don't think he becomes a head coach again. Maybe, but probably after a good stint somewhere as a coordinator, if at all.
He's gonna do the Bulls route.
Yeah. The Wade Phillips Classic, as I like to call it.
He's gonna have to really light it up somewhere as a coordinator to get his stock back up. Right now, it's really low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
100%. Any final thoughts on Matt Patricia and the Detroit situation?
Nope.
All right, this wasn't on the run sheet, but I have to bring myself to the gallows here because one of the last major points here in football was that the Cardinals didn't get it done against Patriots.
Oh,
And I'm very upset.
The one thing I wanted.
I wanted it too.
This hurts me.
You know who wanted it more? Nick Folk wanted it more.
He sure did want it more.
He wanted it.
There is a lot of glee in this room right now.
It murders me that Nick Folk is doing well in New England.
Yeah.
The Folk hero, dude, he was a jet great.
Anyways, let me get on my soapbox. That loss is crippling, I will say. It truly is. Because my ethos all year is that the Patriots, what they do is they beat bad teams. That's what they've done this year. They beat the Ravens. I designated the Ravens a bad team before that game, and that game cemented it. So I have to say with my chest, Arizona Cardinals are a bad team. And I believe that. You guys who I talked to, I think Jay and Cox a bit after that game, and this could lead to a slide. I see a universe where we lose the rest of these games and end up 7-9.
No,
I see it.
No,
I see it.
Cox is like foaming at the bit right now. Go ahead, Cox.
But
so, I want DT to.
I get that Belichick is really good defensively. Kyler Murray had his worst game of his career by far, and that's a factor for sure. But again, when it came down to brass tacks, I don't even want to say, because it kind of happened, but it didn't really happen. I don't want to say Cliff got out coached. But what it really was, it was some of his decisions were rough, but it's also fucking Zane Gonzalez. That's the second huge kick he's blown this year. And I want his head on a pike, and I want him the fuck out of Phoenix. Like, immediately. Get him the fuck away from this team. I felt rough after, what was it? He missed like a 49-yarder short a couple weeks ago to lose that. One of those games. I can't remember which one. He went short on a 49-yarder.
That's a bad look.
That's a terrible look. And then he blows the clutch kick here, which is the second game in a row where we faced the Patriots, where we lost on a botched fucking field goal when we could have won the game. And I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of it, but I think this is a crushing loss for that team. We might bounce back, but everything that I said I was concerned about with this team has come to fruition. They're not disciplined. Cliff's got to get those guys going if he wants to make a run. We're talented as all hell, but all of our losses this year are bad losses. Fully, almost, yeah. Every one of them was fully preventable. The Lions, the Panthers, the holding in the end zone call against Seattle, Gonzalez botching 2 kicks. Fuck. If we're gonna make if we're gonna make a run down the stretch, it's go time. We have the Rams this week. The thing I've been terrified of for the last 4 weeks is coming.
Yeah.
We play them twice still, with the NFC East interspersed in there, and a Niners game.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing, Dave. That playoff spot, right, is between basically you, the Rams, and the Niners, right, at the moment?
Because the Bears are technically in it.
They're out of it. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade here. I called it. Right, Cox? Anyway.
Wow. Go to what, 1? How's Josh Allen doing?
Not great. So anyway.
All right.
So if the Rams and the 49ers and the Cards all go 3-2, the Cards go to the playoffs, right? So remaining schedule for the Cards is the Rams, the Giants, the Eagles, the Niners, the Rams. So no offense, Mario, they beat the Giants, they beat the Eagles.
Do they?
You have to win one of those Rams games and you're in.
Whoa, hold on. Why is it such a predetermined thing that they're going to beat the Giants?
Exactly.
The Giants can beat. They play people close and they can beat people.
Yeah, but they barely beat the Bengals without like their rookie quarterback, their franchise quarterback.
Okay, but they almost beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Don't get me started, Jay. Don't hate.
Oh, I hate.
They almost beat a lot of teams.
The whole thing.
They almost beat a lot of teams.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what. Well, I'm going to cover the Giants game. I won't even get into it right now. Let's just talk about the Cardinals real quick. DT, you were talking about this was Kyler Murray's worst game of the season. Looking back, and you're saying they're playing the Rams this week. The last time he had a game worse than this past weekend was against the Rams last year.
Sure, where he was. I remember
where he was 163 yards and 1 interception. This week he was actually 170 and 1 interception, so he was slightly better, 7 yards better. Okay,
Thank you.
Like I said, listen, I think Murray he's an amazing talent. Knowing we're going to play them next, I'm scared because I know that he can just be one of those players where, okay, doesn't have a great game, but then again, here he goes, scrambling and throwing a bomb, So, and when you got Hopkins, you're never out of a game. So, I know you're pissed off, but I think they show up this week.
Yeah, I hope so. The point of this whole rant is 2 things. One, Kyler Murray jersey's not going on the rest of the season. The 2 times I've worn it this year, we fucking lost. So Kyler Murray's retired for the season. Back to D-Hop we go. And 2, I have greatly lowered my hopes and expectations for this team after that loss. Because I was hanging on every week, like trying to get the division. We could really make a run at it. NFC title game. A loss like that, and with the trajectory of losses that we had over the season, I don't trust this team in a big game anymore. Talented as all get out. Maybe a couple years away if they keep the core. But this ain't the one. And I'm going to be excited if we make the playoffs, and if we win a playoff game, I'll be over the moon. Everything else is gravy. If we somehow make a run, amazing. But my standards for the team have dropped significantly. And I'm going to just try to enjoy more football going forward.
I don't watch the Cardinals enough to really know the ins and outs and what the problem is. Is it the offensive line? Is it the defense? I know the defense isn't that great, but
middle of the road.
Is the offensive line not really giving Kyler Murray like the clean pocket to throw? Do they have a running game? I mean, I don't really watch them enough. Their running game is
one of the best in the league, and the linemen are all linemen that you've had on other teams that you're like, oh, hey, I know that name. It's like J.R. Sweezy, Justin Pugh, like guys who are good, but not like protect.
So what basically? The defense.
The defense is the tough part. And like I said, we're sloppy. We're the most penalized team in the league by a lot. And it's one of those things where we have a young coach and a young QB. So I think it's just like tightening things up and getting more organized and not making those mistakes. We lost the Seattle game due to a holding in the end zone that resulted in a safety.
Wow.
It's that stuff. We're shooting our own selves in the foot. The talent's there. I think Coach Cliff's got to get more big time coaching experience under his belt. And the guys, our core just needs to continue to gel, grow, and develop. But
I seem to remember there was this team like back in the day, right? They had a young coach, a young quarterback, a good running game, and they made it to the AFC Championship after going 9-7. That team was the New York Jets.
Oh, wow. How did I know you were going to do that? You talk about the 2010 Jets.
And that was Bill Parcells.
People who are on the 2010 Jets. It's ridiculous. Find a new triumph. Get your Trevor Lawrence and shut the fuck up about 2010.
I'm trying to help. Listen, the past few comments that I've heard, DT, you're getting a fruit basket tomorrow. Jason, you're getting a fucking bag of dildos.
But I just wanted to get on my soapbox. That was kind of not on the schedule. I wanted to cover it in This Week in Football, which is the section we're in. But I know we have to move on. Will Fuller got suspended and Josh Gordon got reinstated. That will be fun. But if we want to talk about it a little bit, I kind of want to move forward.
I think we should use this as the perfect transition into Cards versus Rams. I mean, we're already talking about them.
I agree. It's a litmus test of the highest order. That defense is one of the best in the league, if not the best, that Rams defense.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't really seen anything like Kyler Murray this season. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they guard him, because they have great DBs. Aaron Donald's might be legitimately the best football player in the league.
Yes.
It's almost without a question. And he's got the speed to chase down Kyler if things get weird. Our line is not going to have a good time this week. So what Rams are you going to get is always kind of the question.
Yes.
They just dropped a game to the Niners, which was surprising. But like we talked about, they did have Debo back, and Raheem Mostert played, I believe.
Yes.
Which changes which changed the entire complexion for them. And now we got to worry about the Niners going forward.
Yeah, if they start to get healthy, they're going
to
not get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're getting guys back, and that's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm. So that's frightening as well. So the Rams are such a tough team to predict for those reasons, because they're all over the place in terms of wins and stuff. But what this comes down to for me is this the home game. I have to do the thing that I did with Seattle. It is the home game.
It is.
I think we win the home game. I'm gonna pick the Cards despite my best efforts.
I'm gonna ask, how's Murray's shoulder?
Yeah, that's huge. That's
his shoulder.
Yeah.
His shoulder. He's expected to play, but his shoulder is an issue right now. It really is.
That was one of the biggest problems in the game against New England, was he wasn't taking off and running because they were worried about it. So I don't fully know what can. Again, he doesn't really have like an injury designation on it. It's just people know about it, and it's like concerning. So I don't. We're gonna have to see in the game, but like that factored in as well. Like, I'm picking the Cards, but that's because we have to win one of these two games. I'm not doing it because I want to. My brain, because across the board, like Cox talked about, the Rams are the most complete team in the NFC right now. 100%, it's a fact. That, and I will take Sean McVay in a coaching duel against almost anybody in the league to begin with, but against Cliff Kingsbury, who, like I said, has had trouble getting these guys to be a complete unit and disciplined. Everything, my brain, my football analyst brain wants me to pick the Rams. But as a fan and as somebody who knows we need this game, I have to pick the Cardinals. So I'm going the Cardinals by, I don't want to say 3 because I don't trust Zane Gonzalez within 100 feet of a football stadium. So let's say
it's got to be by touchdown.
It's got to be by a touchdown. So make it, 21-17. I feel bad about that.
That's 4 points, not 7, but all right.
It disgusts me. But it's like touchdown.
I got you.
Game,
I know.
Within. I can see that.
One of you other guys go. I'm distraught.
All right. I'll go. Murray's shoulder is the biggest question because that influences a lot of their play calling. Like the amount of designed rushes just hasn't been the same in the last 2 games. I mean, his rushing really does. You're seeing how much his rushing allows the offense to move. Like, he is the offense. DeAndre Hopkins is a part of the offense. Chase Edmonds and Kenyon Drake are part of the offense. Kyler Murray is the offense. And if he can't run, he's not the same. That team is not going to do anything. Like, they are solely dependent on whether or not he can run. And I think even if he was healthy and they were designing more runs, I think the Rams are going to be able to set the edges, control those, and Donald, you can't step up in the pocket with Donald there. Have fun with that. So what do you do? Like, what do you do? And I think that I just don't think offensively they're gonna have enough. Jared Goff is going to be able to win this game early. I think they're going to get ahead early, and maybe the Cards bring it back a little bit. But as long as Goff doesn't get put in the, he has to win the game because he sucks at that. But if he can like get up early and they can just kind of hold it with the run game, then I think that's what'll happen. I think the Rams will win 27-20.
As long as Aaron Donald does not lift up and literally eat Kyler Murray, I'll be happy with any result in this game.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the only thing I don't want to see
Let's
happen.
not rule anything out, though.
That's my shot take. He consumes Kyler Murray alive.
Aaron Donald turns into the Yeti from that ski game.
Yes. So barring that happening, I'm happy with any result. Jay, if you want to go next.
Yeah, no, I agree with Coxie makes a good point. I mean, you can't really run outside, and you absolutely cannot run up the middle with Kyler. My point was, if you have 7 or less designed rushing attempts for Kyler, you know his arm's not. They know they don't believe that he's healthy. I think you win off of the dual capability of them. Like, yeah, they have really good edges, but I still think Kyler can kind of weasel around it, and I think they know that. But what it really is going to come down to is Can Kyler win on arm alone? Can he do it against a good Rams secondary? And the other thing is and I say this every week, which Goff are we getting? I think I think this is one of like the best divisional games of the year. Personally, I feel like most of the divisional games have been kind of eh.
Any NFC West divisional game's been a banger.
Yeah,
They've all
pretty much.
been good.
They've all been good.
I think this is good though, just because like you both are fighting for that playoff spot. And it's late in the year. You both need it. I agree that McVay is a better coach than Kingsbury right now. I think Kingsbury has potential. You might disagree with that, but I think I'm going to take the Cards here.
Yo,
28-21.
I love that you do these things for me. Mario, put a bow on my suffering, please.
As we speak right now, I'm sending over a box of tissue so Jason can fucking wipe the shit off his nose for kissing your ass, DT. I just think, just looking back, I actually looked back at last season. I'm just looking at the matchups. The Rams just always seem to play really well against the Cards.
They give us some trouble.
And that Murray seems to throw an interception a game, and you're going against the ridiculous secondary this week. I mean, they're ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're going to put pressure on him. His shoulder's not 100%. It's going to be a tall order. I think Murray throws a couple touchdowns, but I think he's going to fall short. I just think that the defense for the Rams is just going to be too much. But it's not going to be a blowout. I'm going to say 27-17 Rams.
Well, I think this is one of the first definitive 50-50 splits we've had.
I think you're right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've only had two chances for it.
Yeah.
Well,
another key matchup in this everyone should watch for is Jalen Ramsey, DeAndre Hopkins.
It's gonna be delicious.
So fucking
That's gonna be
can't
fun.
wait. It's primetime must-see TV.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna geek out over it. I like me some
Fucking
Jalen
A.
Ramsey.
Fucking A.
Ryan, you have a bye week,
I'm so glad you went here next.
so you can go. You elected that you wanted to take Pats v Chargers.
Yeah, and I was hoping we'd do it in this order too.
Yeah, so to clarify also, my shot take last week was Justin Herbert would throw for more yards than Josh Allen in a Chargers loss, and I succeeded. So no shots for me this week. That's why you're not seeing me drink.
I make sure I fuck up every week so I can at least have a drink.
Yeah. That's what we do this for. You're doing it wrong, sir. You're doing it wrong, DT.
I'm correct on my takes. Sorry.
Yeah, that's wrong. So yeah, I really wanted to talk past Chargers, mainly just because I wanted to once again bring up the the Terminator's not really dead. It's just lying in wait. Like the Patriots are there. They're still dangerous. More so than the 0-11 Jets. So
I mean, that's objectively true. Why are you just attacking me?
because we have to talk about your shitty team every week. So
Getting total orange, so
so the Pats still do something a lot of teams try and do, but they can't. Is they always take away the one thing you do really, really well. No, you're not doing it. This week, you're not going to do that. So again, they want to run the ball, whether or not they, obviously didn't design as many runs for Kyler, but offensively, Arizona likes to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, they didn't. No, that's not going to happen this week. It didn't happen. So, and their secondary is still better than people are giving them credit for. Like defensively, Bill Belichick is still scheme defense. They are a threat, and they are going to do this week. They're going to take away the one thing the San Diego Chargers have going, and that's Justin Herbert's throwing. They're going to take that away. He will not. My shot take is Justin Herbert does not throw 250 yards this week.
For the first time in his career?
For the first time. He does not throw 250 yards.
So he doesn't throw over 250 yards.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
He just won't do
Okay.
it. They're going to have to rely on Austin Eckler to get this done. If they want to get this done, Austin Eckler is going to be huge. If Herbert does get over 250, a lot of it's with Eckler. A good portion of that will be with Eckler. But I don't trust Anthony Lynn. Like the Chargers, they don't do late game well at all, and we know Bill Belichick certainly does. So it's going to be close, and maybe the Chargers have like a late thing in the end here. But the Pats are going to be a 500 team once this is done. They're going to win this game 24-20. The Pats, I will warn. I don't think the NFL needs to. I will warn you now. If you do not kill them this year, if they sneak into the playoffs somehow, by some 6%, I think, chance that they have, it will be the biggest mistake the AFC ever makes. Because they could beat the Steelers. They could beat the Steelers.
No, they can't. Are you out of your mind?
The Patriots could beat the Steelers.
No,
yes,
they cannot.
They could absolutely upset them. 100%.
They have to get to the Steelers first.
The Giants should have beat the Steelers.
Yes. Look, all I'm saying. Look, I know, I completely agree. But they're not mathematically eliminated yet, and that's you need to kill them. The Chargers need to do it. I don't think they will. I think the Rams next week will, but I don't think the Chargers will.
Okay.
All right. Shit.
Who
wants to pick it next?
I agree. I'm like right there. Listen, Coxie, I actually had, looking at my sheet here, I actually had the Rams winning, and you're almost twisting my arm up here to go with the Pats because you made some really good points about Belichick and that coaching staff. They have that team ready to play.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to pick out the one thing that is going to hurt them, and they attack that. So as much as I think if they were in New England this week, I think you're spot on. I just think being in Los Angeles, I just think it's going to be a close game. You don't know what Cam Newton you're going to get this week. You don't know what you're going to get with him. He has games where there he goes, he's running, and then there he goes throwing an interception. Or I just think it's going to be close. I'm going to go out here and say it's going to be a 14-17 game. It's going to be that close. It's going to be a field goal game, and I think the Chargers just pull it out. Could I see it going the opposite way and flip-flopping? Sure, absolutely. I could. Only because I can see where you put coaching on the side of New England. Because I don't like Lynn either. I think he's really, really spotty. He really is. And he's shown that in these past few games. They've lost close games because of coaching. But like I said, I just think if it was the other way, if it was in New England, I can totally see New England pulling it out. I just have a feeling that the Chargers get it done by less than a field goal.
So real quick, you bring up you don't know what Newton you're going to get. It almost doesn't matter. He went 9 of 18 last week for 84 yards.
Yeah,
and it didn't. They still put up 20 points. Now there was they scored off of the should have been pick 6, but like it does like I think last week what we had was a theme, and the theme, at least with our games, I thought was coaching is still just as important as talent, because you saw Bill Belichick beat a much more talented Cardinals team, like way more talented Cardinals team.
I love that we keep bringing it up. Let's keep talking about it.
Well, you see why I was so happy to talk about it. And then you saw Andy Reid be a much better coach against Bruce Arians. He was. No, Jay, he was. Trust me. If I see another 3-2 if I see another 3-2 or 3-2 with a 5 wideout set and no tight end help to block,
that's fair.
and you're gonna try and throw a 20-yard deep ball, I'm gonna lose my freaking mind. All right, I'm gonna explode.
We're still going over those games, right? Correct.
Eventually.
So, anyway.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to that theme of coaching, and I think that's being proven more so with the Pats right now. They're fun. They're kind of fun to watch for me.
Jay, what do you think?
First of all, Cox, go fuck yourself. The Pats' best case scenario is they get blown the fuck out in the wild card. Best case scenario. Yeah, look, I mean, the Cards lost a game. They should have won that game. Multiple times they should have won that game last week. The Pats do what the Pats do. They get those lucky-ass fucking calls. I was messaging D the entire game. I was like, I don't agree with that call. I don't agree with that call.
Crossed the goal line and broke the plane 5 times, and it only counted for 2 touchdowns.
So, yeah, like the Pats won, but, I mean, here's the thing. I think I mean, honestly, if I'm being unbiased, I think the Pats win. They should win this game. They should. But I think you're overstating how good this team is. I don't think you realize like they're not a good team. They're not even an okay team.
But Bill Belichick's a great coach. That's been my point. Is Bill Belichick is far and away better than any coach.
What's your pick, Jay?
I'm gonna go Chargers 23-17. Fuck you, Cox.
All right.
DT trying to move it along because it's gonna go on all night with these two.
So
that's how it goes.
Fact of the matter is, I've been saying it all year. Patriots beat bad teams. Patriots win here. They also have weird games. Let's make it like 17-12 Patriots because these games always have weird scores.
You're right there with me.
Yeah.
So Patriots win though. They beat bad teams. Herbert and the boys got a lot of upside. Love Justin Herbert. Love Keenan Allen. Love Austin Eckler. Love that whole squad. But they find ways to lose these games. They're not a good team. They can't finish. So why would I expect them to finish against a Patriots team who's proven they can beat people? So logically, it's the only thing that makes sense.
All right.
Jay.
Go Chargers.
Jay, Jets Raiders. Oh, also your shot take. Actually, Cox was right? Or no, wrong?
I was wrong.
No,
Carson Wentz had a turnover.
He did.
Wasn't he not going to play?
I was hoping he didn't. But
he's questionable.
Gotcha. Yeah, you as you rip those, Jay, go into your game.
Oh, Raiders, Jets, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They better lose this game. We're in the home stretch here, right? I think we all know what I want, and that's Mr. Trevor Lawrence. It's weird though, because like Jacobs is out, their safety's out. They got beat pretty bad last week. I know the Jets are terrible, but this feels like a Jetsy thing to do to win this game and fucking not win on the Trevor sweepstakes.
Mm-hmm.
All that being said, the Jets defense is terrible. Carr's gonna rip them apart. Sam's gonna do Sam things. It's gonna be 24-10 Raiders.
Gotcha. Mario, what do you got?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I think the Raiders game was a blip. I think it was just a blip on a screen. The Jets don't want to win this game. I mean, they've shown it. They've shown it from week 4 to now. They haven't gotten rid of Gase because they don't want to win another game. If they wanted to win another game, what do usually teams do when they want another game? They want to win a game. They fire their coach. It fires the team up. It puts everybody on the hot seat. They don't want to do it, so they're just chugging along. I think the Raiders win actually pretty good. Even though I think Darnold had his best game of the season last year against the Raiders.
He did. You're right.
He did. I just don't see it this time around. I'm going to say 28-10. 28-10, which is actually an improvement this week for the Jets because they've been single digits for the past few weeks, 3, 6, 7.
That high-powered Gase offense we talked
that
about.
high power. Listen, it's so funny listening. It's so funny listening to like New York sports talk because I hear, well, they need to put players around Sam Darnold. They need to do this and do that. Listen, shit. Give me Perryman and Crowder and Sims on the Giants. Shit, I would love it. We have.
But I forgot to do my shot take, by the way. Sorry.
Okay, ahead, buddy. Sorry.
My shot take was Mims goes over 100 yards for the first time in his career this week.
Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But like I said, I just think it's excuses. I think the Jets want to lose. They're going to lose. So yeah, I'm going with the Raiders.
Gotcha, Coxie.
So every time we talk about the Jets, I just feel like Squidward, where like in that one episode of SpongeBob where the guy comes in, starts giving an order, and he's just sitting there like, we serve food here, sir. Like I feel like we're talking about football, right? Like, why are we talking about this pile of dog shit team that scraped off the bottom of Bill Belichick's shoe? Like, I don't understand. Raiders, 37-17.
Didn't the Patriots win off like a last-second field goal against the Jets? What do you mean scraped off the shoe?
Scraped off this shoe.
Buddy, you're gonna be pissed when we get Trevor Lawrence.
I could see.
Oh no, because then you'll be.
I'm making my pick. Children. It's the Raiders. I mean, that's not in doubt. I think that Raiders defense is weird, and as we can see, they'll give up points to suspect teams. So I think the Jets have a good showing here, but it's still like a loss potentially by multiple scores. But I'm gonna give them a couple points here. Let's make it. I'm gonna say it's gonna be like 31-21 Raiders. Because I could see
that would be interesting.
Yeah, 100%.
I honestly just want to see Mims go off. That's all I care about.
Go off, King. You do love him.
I like it.
Mario, you have Giants versus Seahawks. Tell us about it.
I don't think I've slept in the past 4 days thinking about this game. If Daniel Jones was playing, I think we have a shot. I watched the Philadelphia game. I watched the Philadelphia Seahawks game. Russell Wilson looked slow at times. He looked like the Eagles' defense was really swarming, but the Eagles are just so bad. I think it was a product of the Eagles being bad and the Seahawks just having too many playmakers. You saw Darius Slay get sucked into the Metcalf vortex. Did you guys watch the game?
Yeah, I did.
They're fighting with each other, and he's just like, hey, I guess Jim Schwartz said that, hey, you're not Megatron. And he went into that game with a huge chip on his shoulder and said, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm going to steamroll you guys. And he did. It was a one-man show. The offensive line didn't impress me. The Eagles defense basically shut down the run game. They really didn't have a run game. I think the Giants are great at stopping the run. Bradbury, Metcalf, can't wait to see it.
It's gonna be.
I think Metcalf is good, but Bradbury, he's not getting enough credit. He's not getting enough
I like him.
Pro Bowl votes. I mean, the guy is he's bargain of the year. Mm-hmm. We got him for, I think it was like $40 million.
Yeah.
3 years, $47 million. Are you kidding me? The guy's playing like a top 3 corner in the league. So, like I said, if Jones was playing, I really like our chances. It looks like right now it's going to be McCoy. I just don't know. I just don't know McCoy. I know last week he didn't look good. He didn't look good because he really doesn't take any of the snaps with the first team. So this is going to be a week where he actually has a practice with the ones. They're going to script an offense around him. I think we can run the ball. Against the Seahawks. If we can stop Metcalf with Bradbury and we can limit Jamal Adams, the problem, Jamal Adams.
He's fine.
We call him the problem because he's a problem. He really is. He's a freaking amazing player. If we can stop him, we have a shot to win this game. We do. My shot take is Wayne Gallman goes over 110 yards this week.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
And I think, even though I would love to say the Giants win this game, I just think it's another one of those heartbreakers. It's 24-17. Seahawks.
You sound sad even saying it.
I do. I just, like I said, if Jones is playing, I go the opposite way, but I just don't see Colt McCoy hasn't played a game in a long time. Even though you put a game plan around him and you give him time with the ones, I just don't see it. So I'm just going to say the Seahawks 24-17.
Gotcha. Thank you. Coxie, what do you got?
Yeah, I just with no Colt McCoy. I'm sorry, with no Danny Dimes and having to play Colt McCoy. I don't see the Giants being able to keep up offensively. Now, with the Seahawks do like to play close games, so like they'll play down to an opponent. Not to say that the Giants are an opponent you should play down to, that you should respect them. But I think this will be a 2-score game as well. I think this will be a 29-17 contest for the Seahawks to take it. I just think Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf is going to be a thing. It's going to keep being a thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mario. I don't think this one's going to be even remotely close. Colt McCoy, he's not good.
He was great at Texas 12 years ago. Or whatever.
Bradbury's been good, but he's no like Jalen Ramsey. I think Metcalf has his fucking way with him. I think this one's gonna be like 35-21. Seahawks. Maybe like 35 to like 17. Honestly, I would go 35-17.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off that, and once you said that, it made me really think: do I believe Colt McCoy can score 20 points? And deep down in my soul, it's no. So I'm gonna take actually the same score as Jay did for the same team. I think, like we've been saying it all year, but DK Metcalf is somehow a human being. I think the jury's still out on that.
Yeah, still not convinced.
But he's technically the same species as us. Just let that
somehow.
That's a lie. I don't believe it's fake news.
The man, he's outpaced Megatron so far in all statistical categories. And if you're in that kind of company, you're hash brown good at football.
You're doing right.
Yeah. So I think he's a game breaker. I think Bradbury's great, but Metcalf he's so big. He's so physical. He's so fast. How many more superlatives are there? He's a game breaker. He's an absolute game breaker. And he was somewhat contained last week, but still got a score. But I think Chris Carson, even against that solid as hell Giants run D, I think he's a bit of an X factor. This team was rocking and rolling when they established that run game with Carson as the featured centerpiece. And that's when Russ was making all these crazy MVP talks and everything. And as soon as he went down against Arizona, the team slides because they couldn't establish the run. They, Hyde and these other pieces also went down and got hurt. So they were super thin at RB for a while, but they got their feature guy back. And I think them establishing a rhythm with Carson as the feature back, we might go back to those old Seahawks that we were seeing in those first 5, 6, 7 weeks of the season. And what better team to really do it against than a team like the Giants, who have played with everybody, so that you're going to get a good test and a good contest to get that rhythm up and running. And if you can get a couple scores on them, get something going, you're really well prepared for the stretch run. So I think.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say I got the Seahawks. So
yeah, like I said, I agree with you guys that the Seahawks win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, and I could be 100% wrong, obviously. I just think that the Giants, I think Graham has them playing their discipline. If this was an earlier game, like early in the season, see a blowout. I just don't see it this week. I think an X factor for us is that this is the second week that McKinney actually plays, the safety from Alabama. I think it's going to help. I think we actually roll an extra safety to Metcalf, and we go, we just pick our poison when it comes to Lockett or somebody else. I don't think we let him go. If you actually take Russell Wilson, these are the keys to the game. If you can control the pocket with Russell Wilson and don't let him outside the pocket, this is where he's dangerous. This is where he finds Metcalf. If you watch the past few games with them, where Russell Wilson is dangerous at his most, is where he rolls out of the pocket, extends the play, and that's where he finds it. And if you look at, it's not just because he extends the play, it's because where the defenses are so undisciplined, where if you look at, say, for instance, the Dolphins game where Metcalf went off on them, where Russell Wilson comes out, he goes in, he goes out, and you watch the corners are watching him scramble, and they're watching Russell Wilson, and they let either Lockett or Metcalf get behind the defense, and he just heaves it in the end zone, and they're just waiting for the ball. They're like, here I am, and they catch the ball. Watch the plays. This is where it happens. I think the defense does their homework this week, and I just don't see. I see, sure, they'll have a couple big plays. I just don't see them having a field day on us. From my mouth to God's ears, I just don't see it. But like I said, I don't expect them winning.
Yeah. Well, I hope that for you. I wish nothing but the best to.
And here's my shot.
Here's
my shot.
Yeah, you had, what was it again? You had.
I don't remember, but I know I sucked.
Yeah, it was something
I think it was Carson Wentz. Was it Carson Wentz doesn't throw an interception?
No, that was me. Oh God, I said it beforehand.
What did I say?
I told you before we started, and I can't remember.
Speaking of which, I gotta go grab my shot for my shot take.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that as well. I remembered you.
Now, DT had the whistle pig last week, and by no means am I a paid sponsor for them, but I suggest you try this one.
What is it?
Basil Hayden's.
Basil Hayden's. Delish.
All right, I'll take a look at it if I can find it. But yeah, hats off to you. I hope the best for the Giants. I hope the best for every team. But I would like you guys to keep it interesting. But yeah, I still think I have the Seahawks there. Moving into quick fire. While we can, I will stretch a little bit to give Jay some time to come back. So we'll go to him last. But we're going to open up with Saints Falcons. Mario, who do you got?
Saints Falcons. I think New Orleans gets it done.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans is going to play better this week. The Falcons, I just think they were just a product of the Raiders just having a shit game. I look for New Orleans to win this game 27-21.
Gotcha. Coxey, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Saints as well. I think you got to get Kamara going in this offense again. I know they're still running the ball a lot with Hill. I don't think the Falcons are going to let them run as much. I think you're going to have to do a little more dump downs to Kamara. So got to get him going if you really want to undefeated in the Taysom Hill time. 34-23 Saints.
Solid score. I'm going to let Jay do his shot, so I'm going to go next on Saints Falcons, and I'm also going to take the Saints, but I'm a little hesitant to do so because I've talked a lot already about the Falcons kind of stealing ones and winning ones that you don't understand or necessarily expect. That's doubly true here with their division opponents. They surprise the Saints often. It's almost like Miami with the Patriots, where they'll grab one every year, and it kind of surprises you. That being said, I don't think they do here. Although Taysom Hill still being the guy there puts a huge question mark on it. But I think they get it done because I think the Falcons come back down to earth a little bit. I think the Saints have to get Kamara more involved, and Mike Thomas and all these guys that they know are dudes. But yeah, I have the Saints. I think it's close. I'll give it a one score-ish game. Give me like 34-27.
Nice score.
I think it's a little bit of a high scoring affair.
Nice.
Jay, what do you have for Saints Falcons? As he takes the shot, I try to time it out so it doesn't happen. And literally,
I'm sorry, which one?
Saints Falcons.
Is Breeze is still out, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Week 15's his projected comeback.
Yeah. Still the Taysom Hill show.
Give me the Falcons here.
30,
Ooh, Jay with the Falcons.
31-24.
Nice. Wow. I like
Bravo.
it. Next up, we have the Browns v Titans. I'm going to go back around the same way. So Jay, kick us off.
Give me the Titans there. Let's go 28-24.
Gotcha. Cox 8.
Yeah, Browns beat the teams they should not beat the Titans. 30-23 Titans.
Awesome. Mario?
Titans. Without a doubt. I think 27-14.
I think that's solid. I'm also going to do the Titans, king of the South. I also don't super trust that Browns D. Let me go. This is a shot take. I'll do it because I just thought of it. The king of the South goes over 175 on the ground.
Ooh, okay.
I think he continues to eat because late season Henry's when he always turns it on down the stretch anyway. He's not only a second half back generally in games, he's a second half of a season kind of guy, and this is where he starts to really rock. He's out of an amazing year so far. I think if there's ever a year where running back could potentially be the MVP, like he's making a case. Yeah. And this is where he normally thrives on the stretch run here. So I think we've seen it. He popped off for like 40 fantasy points last week. I think he keeps it rolling. I don't think anybody on that Browns team wants to tackle this guy, save for maybe Myles Garrett. But even then, if he gets blocked or whatever, Henry has a game. Let's make it 34-17.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that DT is officially on the wagon. I don't think you drink next week. I like that shot take.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh God, I'm the one who's supposed to fucking pick the next matchup.
Waiting on you.
Battle of the animals here. We got Lions versus Bears. Let's start with Cox this time.
I think, like I said earlier, I think the Trisha there, and the Bears offense is bad, just bad. So even the Lions defense can stop them. So 31-20 Lions.
31-21. Mario.
I'm actually going to go with the Bears.
No way.
I'm actually going with the Bears. I don't know. I just think Mighty Mitch gets it done this week.
Mighty Mitch. Are you kidding me with that?
It's not a wise pick.
I'm going to go 21-17.
21-17. Awesome. Jay?
I got Detroit as well. I think interim head coach as Cox said, makes a difference. I'm going to go 31-21.
31-21. Solid score. Ugh. In my soul, I want to pick Detroit, but I'm going to pick the Bears because I think the Bears defense is better than Detroit's offense. That's what it comes down to. I don't love the Bears offense. I don't love Detroit's offense. I don't love Detroit's defense. I do like the Bears defense, and that was the litmus Punnett square that I did to get to the Bears, because I think they make a play that changes the game, and Mitch stumbles headfirst into a win, I suppose. Make it probably lower scoring. Give me 21-17 Bears. The Bears.
The Bears.
Next up, we have Bengals v. Dolphins. Let's go to Mario first.
Miami. I don't. The Giants should have beat the crap out of them last week, but they didn't. But Miami will get the job done without a doubt this week. Anybody know if Tua's back, or is it still Fitz?
It's going to be Fitz.
I think Tua's questionable.
Gotcha.
It's going to be Fitz. I'm going to say it's 28-14 Dolphins.
28-14. Gotcha. Jay.
Yeah, I'd probably take the same score, 28-14 Dolphins.
Cool. Coxie?
Yeah, I'm right around 27-17 Dolphins.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that same ballpark. Let's do make it a 10-point game for fun. Let's make it 14. 24-14 Dolphins. Real quick before we end off that game, as these guys are rattling off the wins and going to a playoff spot, if Fitz is rolling again, do you go back to 2 come playoff time?
No.
I don't think so either. I'm interested to see what they do. Because they won games with 2-2, so it's this weird duality.
Yeah, the offense didn't look right though.
Yeah, fair enough.
No.
Moving on. Jaguars versus Vikings. Cox.
The Jags will keep pace Jets and lose 34-14 Jags. Dalvin Cook will have fun.
Sure will. Mario.
31-14 Minnesota. I think they just keep rolling. They're going to build off last week.
Gotcha. Yazzie?
Yeah, I'm going to go 31-10 Vikings.
Yeah. I think Dalvin Cook has a field day because that's what he does, especially against teams like the Jags. The bright spot on the Jags is that RB. James Robinson's a dude. Really, really good. Maybe making a push for Rookie of the Year? Question mark?
Yeesh.
It's real good. I think.
Yes.
Either way, I'll take the not Jags. Who was it again? The Vikings. What?
I have a proposition bet for you.
Okay.
All right.
For a shot.
Okay.
Dalvin Cook has more rushing yards than King Henry.
This week?
Yes.
Rushing, not total yards from scrimmage.
No, rushing yards.
Oh, he is playing Jacksonville.
So Dalvin Cook, Jacksonville, Tennessee.
Or King.
Man.
I stand by my king. I'll take the bet.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, ooh, he's got the take it. He's gonna stand by it.
I will stand by my king of the South. He's my boy. I'll take that prop bet.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, Coxie. I think Cook definitely has a better chance of doing it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Did we all pick that game? I forgot where we were with that, or did we just start that?
We did.
Yeah, I have.
We all took the Vikings.
Yep.
Yeah,
all Vikings.
I also take the Vikings. Yeah. Multiple scores. Scores are funny. I don't care. Colts versus Texans. Lead with Yaz.
Texans, actually.
Whew.
28-21.
Interessante. Coxie.
Yeah, I think the Colts. I think the Colts will bounce back here. I think not having Fuller is going to be interesting for them. Who's going to step up into that? It's going to be Brendan Cooks. Is Kiki Cutie going to get more time? I mean, he had a breakout. When Fuller wasn't around. What was it in his rookie year? Was that a year ago or 2 years ago?
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I just don't think their offense is going to be able to be as efficient. So I think the Colts will win this 30-27. It'll still be close.
Real quick, you know who I think steps up there? D.D. Westbrook. He's going to be the guy for them. And a quarterback to be named later.
Oh, really? See, it's funny you say that because your team just lost to them without D.D. Westbrook and a quarterback to be named later.
I'm fine with that. It's still not less egregious than you saying D.D. Westbrook makes the Pats a Super Bowl contender. That's egregious.
I said it makes them closer, and it makes them a playoff contender.
Whatever you say, Mario. Silence this man.
So who did you have there, DT? You have Houston?
Oh, I'm going to take the Colts. No, I'm taking the Colts.
Oh, you're taking the Colts. Okay.
I'm high on the Colts.
That was a split. That was 50-50.
I've
I actually have Houston.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Houston. I'm going with Jay. But I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's a field goal. I think it's going to be 27-24.
Yeah, I got the Colts. I think it is going to be a close one, too. 27-24 is a good score, so I'll go with that. But I think the key to this is the Colts D is just really good. It's still good, even, despite, what happened last week. And I think if Jonathan Taylor can get in a rhythm and cooking again, I think he's the X factor for the Colts. If he gets established, maybe get the ball on some open field for Nyheim Hines. They're weird because you can't pinpoint a thing that the Colts are doing that you're like, wow, this is impressive. Other than the defense, I think T.Y. Hilton's available in most fantasy leagues, because he's not lighting the world on fire or doing anything. The air attack, they got some good pieces. They're the ones with Pittman, right?
Yeah, Michael Pittman Jr.
I like him a lot. So they got pieces, but it's been an odd one. But yeah, give me the Colts here by that scoreline that Mario gave. Did that one. All 4 games in a row again, weirdly, were all the ones we did earlier. Let's do Eagles, Packers, and let's go to Cox first.
Packers. Eagles don't play football well. Packers. 34-17.
Gotcha. Jay?
Packers as well. 28-20. With that said, I think I'm going to have to dip out, boys. I'm getting a crazy headache right now.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
well, submit your picks via text.
Yeah. Or just real fast rattle them off if you want.
No, I gotta fucking dip. Sorry.
All right. Later.
All right,
Feel better, man.
Love you, boys.
I want you to feel worse. See ya. Now I got to redo all the shit. All the names are.
Don't worry, we'll pick up the slack.
We'll edit it in post.
Cox has got it.
No, I got it. So
I can talk for both of us.
Yeah, lovely. Mario, I don't think made his pick for Eagles Packers. Although I have a feeling.
Green Bay, 31-17.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm also going to take the Pack because I'm not an idiot. 31-17 is a pretty good score. Make it 34-17 to be different, because I want to be different. Next we got Broncos Chiefs. Coxie.
Again, Chiefs. Broncos don't play football well. 37-14, Kansas City.
Mario.
Kansas City, without a doubt. I don't care if they have a starting quarterback this week in Denver.
It doesn't matter.
The outcome's not going to be much different. I think it's going to be 31-10.
31-10, wow. I also have the Chiefs. I'm going to say it's 38-14 let's go with. Their high-powered offense. I think Travis Kelce has another game. I really like him against that Denver D for some reason. It's speaking to me that he plays real well there. Washington versus the Steelers, Mario.
Ooh, I actually think that game is going to be closer than anybody thinks it's going to be. I think Pittsburgh will win the game, but I think Washington's going to give them fits. I really do. I think that front is going to give them fits, especially Bud Dupree being out.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be closer. I still got Pittsburgh, but I'm going to say it's going to be, say, 21-17 Pittsburgh.
Gotcha. Cox.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Like I feel Washington will give Pittsburgh some trouble, with their defense, but I still think Pittsburgh's gonna be able to move. I don't trust Washington's offense enough against Pittsburgh's defense, even with the loss of Bud Dupree. I don't see them moving the ball as efficiently. So I'll take Pittsburgh in a 10-point game, 27.
That's a good one. I'm going to take the same scoreline actually because that's a good score.
Okay.
And I'm going to go for the Steelers as well. I think what it really comes down to again is the Washington offense against the Steelers defense, which is running. TJ Watt's running away a little bit with DPOY.
Oh yeah.
Depending on who you talk to. With that line and with Alex Smith back there, he probably racks up a couple more sacks this game, increases his lead on the field. But I think that's what it comes down to. I think they play it pretty tough. Like I said, I've loved that Washington front for a long time. And Ron Rivera will like sneak up on you sometimes with some stuff. So I think it could be close, but I'm going to take the same scoreline as Cox and pick the Steelers. Next up, we got Bills versus Niners. Cox, I'll let you talk about your boyfriend first.
Yeah, I think this is going to be kind of a statement win for them. Though I do have a question. So The 49ers are 1-4 at home. This is technically a home game, but they're not in Santa Clara. So should we go by their away record or?
It's up to you.
I don't know.
Pick one.
I just don't see that. Beat really good teams 2 weeks in a row. I think they'll make it close, but I think the Bills are starting to get healthier defensively, and I think they'll win 31-27.
Gotcha, Mario.
I got Buffalo. 28-24. I just think they'll just do enough. The 49ers just seem to always find a way to fall short. I don't think they're matched up talent-wise. They don't have as much talent right now as Buffalo.
Gotcha. I disagree, and I'm actually going to take the Niners here.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel being back, Brandon Ayuk is great. Raheem Mostert, we saw what he did. They just beat a really good Rams team. And if by the transitive property, Cardinals beat the Niners, Cardinals beat Buffalo, Cardinals lost or probably going to lose to the Rams. Niners beat the Rams, so Niner beats Buffalo.
That's math.
By the quick maths, by the transitive property.
That's the new math.
It is new math. So I'll take them. Their D's good still very good despite what's going on. They're in San Fran now, Santa Clara. But I think the additions of Mostert and Deebo, like coming back, having another game under their belt. They scored a lot of points against a better defense the week previous, and while the Bills are good, they're fine. I don't see anything that is more scary than like a Jared Goff for them. So I'm going to take them. Let's make it. I think it'll be close. Let's say 24-21 Niners.
Good score.
Yeah. Last but certainly not least is Cowboys Ravens. Mario.
I I actually got Baltimore. I believe Jackson should be back for this game.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe Jackson will be back for this game. Dallas is just in disarray. It's you look at them and you're just like, what Dallas? You're going to get the Dallas from Thanksgiving, or you're going to get the Dallas that that showed some spunk on defense. But I just don't think it's going to be this week. I want Baltimore. I think it's going to be 27-17 Baltimore.
Gotcha, Cox.
Yeah, I think Baltimore can bounce back. And Dallas just, God, what are they? 24-19 Baltimore.
Yeah, I also have Baltimore. Because the Cowboys are the Cowboys right now, and I don't think, like I said, I don't fully believe that the Ravens are for real right now, but they're better than the Cowboys. Which, looking at the division, may not be saying a ton, depending on your perspective, but I think they beat this team because they should beat this team. I don't think Ravens beat the big-time teams, but Dallas is not a big-time team. So give me, let's make it 2017. Sure, that works. Scores are fun to just randomly stab at.
DT, I know we spoke earlier about it, but we scheduled here. Everybody's in agreement with the Jets, right? In Vegas, I think, right?
Okay. Yeah, everybody's picking the Raiders.
Vegas. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think has everybody stated their shot take for the week?
Yeah,
I stated
think
mine.
so. Yeah, mine was Herbert under 250.
Gotcha. And Mario?
Mine was Wayne Gallman rushes for over 110 yards.
Yeah, and I got King Henry for 175 plus. So fun stuff, and we have our prop bet of Dalvin Cook versus
That's right.
versus Derrick Henry.
That's a great prop bet.
So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Transitioning into the big question, I wanted to talk about it. Just based off the playoff pictures and current teams' records, the AFC is looking like the stronger conference for the first time in Lord knows how long than the NFC. The NFC is typically a bloodbath, really powerful teams, things like that. But right now, in the playoff spots, the worst playoff team currently sitting on the AFC side 7-4, and the worst playoff team on the NFC is at 6-5.
Well, there's one. I was gonna say there's one at 4-7.
Yeah, well, Giants are 4-7, and that's a division. So I think that division in and of itself has taken away a lot of the power of the NFC. But I wanted to talk to you guys. I think both for this year and looking a little bit into the future. I think the NFC's been the strong power conference for a long time, despite all the Super Bowl championships by New England or what have you. A lot of people, myself included, say that the Patriots win those because the AFC is so much softer to get through than the NFC. And by the time teams get to that Super Bowl, they've been, through the ringer, going through all those killer teams in the NFC. But my question now is with, the Showtime Mahomes Chiefs becoming very prominent. The Steelers apparently are back to their old prestige and glory. The Titans showing us they're for real by having another hell of a season. The advent of the Bills, Browns are playing well, Dolphins are on the come up, the Colts are a surprise, Raiders are the Raiders, Ravens, etc. I could go on and on down the AFC, but my question to you guys is right now and going forward, is the AFC now the power conference? What do you guys think? I'll go to Cox first.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the teams, you have to the power. It's the power conference now. I mean, for the longest time, the AFC, apart from the Patriots, was pretty much the NFC East. Like it was full of bad teams. Like the Dolphins were always somewhat bad. Like the Jets, bad. except for those like couple years, and then the Bills. All of those teams are now, except for all of those teams are now better. Like the Browns are better, the Titans are better, the Colts are still sticking around, the Raiders are better. Like all of these teams that were bad in the AFC like 5 years ago are now like, for the most part, they're kind of there. I mean, the Texans, just by the luck of the draw, have a shit start to the season, but they're still a dangerous 4-7 team.
Mm-hmm.
The NFC is, I mean, I think obviously I think it's kind of cyclical. I think in 5 years we'll be saying the same thing. Oh, power conference, or in 10 years. But I mean, the NFC is weird because there's 2 really good divisions, and then like 2 kind of bad ones. Like the NFC North is kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Packers, and that's really kind of it. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. But those are just my thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely, Mario.
Yeah, I agree 100%. See, is definitely the cream of the crop this year. I mean, you're looking at, the records. 8-3 in the East. You're looking at 8-3 in the South, 11-0 in the North, and 10-1 in the West. I mean, the closest you can come to that in the NFC is the Saints, and 9-2.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully, Green Bay is 8-3. So, yeah, I mean, I just think it's the AFC. It's their race to lose. I see them taking it all the way to the Super Bowl and winning all this year. I just don't see an NFC team that's going to actually flex their muscles enough and beat anybody from the AFC this year.
For your just for fun, both of you, who are your Super Bowl picks at this moment?
Oh dear God. Right now, I'll take Saints and Chiefs.
Who wins it?
Oh, Chiefs.
Okay, Mario.
I have the Chiefs as well. I was going to say the Saints, but I could easily go back and forth between them and Green Bay. It depends on, is Aaron Rodgers going to take control of that team and just take that step ahead that we expect them to take? But I mean, the Saints, I worry about the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to look at both of them, like I said, I think it's going to be. I just want to go out on a limb and say I think Chiefs and Green Bay.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I have the Chiefs as well, and it's a little bit of a bulk, but I'm going to say Chiefs and whatever team makes it out of the NFC Championship from the NFC West, because it could be any of them. But whatever team makes it out of that division and makes a run in the playoffs is going to be the team that plays in the Super Bowl, because they've got an insane division schedule. All those teams are good, and I think with that iron sharpens iron. Having that kind of competition is going to well prepare them in these big time games. So take your pick. Deep down, I think it's either the Rams or the Seahawks. I don't think Arizona gets there. But whichever one of those two teams, decapitates the other one and raises its arm in victory is going to be the one. But for the question at hand, I think clearly the teams in the AFC right now are astounding. Patrick Mahomes is a game breaker. The Steelers are showing their legacy as still just like a very well run and prestigious franchise. Like I talked about, there's a lot of teams, like I'm a little surprised that the Titans have kind of repeated this like really good play. They're playing better this year, even a lot of people could argue, which caught me a little off guard, although I do really like Mike Vrabel and what he's doing there, and Derrick Henry, obviously.
Absolutely.
Again, the one point I want to make about that conference is all the young talent, all the people on the come up. You got the Bills with Josh Allen. That's proven to be legit. Time will tell with Tua, but that's another guy. Justin Herbert's on the come up. Like, he's going to be somebody 100% if they can get pieces around him and get him maybe a better coach that can help grow him more, get somebody who can really develop him. But even like you said, even the Texans are kind of on the come up. Deshaun Watson's still young. So that's something to look out for. Joe Burrow, if he comes back and his leg's fine, Bengals could be on the come up too. They got a lot of talent on that offense. They just got to shore up the defense. Like, there's a lot of upside currently to the AFC, and I think they're the power conference in the sense of they have the best teams record-wise, and they have the flashiest team and the most impressive team to watch in the NFL, and the Chiefs. That being said, again, the NFC is still the home of very high quality competition, especially that NFC East. It's insane. It's absolute insanity. And I think while the lows are lower, and I think that's where the AFC edges out, is the lows are lower currently in the NFC. But there's a lot of teams that could still contend. I think Carolina with Matt Rule, they really got something there. Give them a few years, and that's going to be a team to fear. I think everybody in the NFC West is really good and still on the rise in a lot of ways. All that new young talent like DK and Tyler Lockett, for Seattle. Russ is getting on, so he might drop off, but you never know that they still got a handful of years left of really, really good football. The infinite potential of the Cardinals right now, crazy upside. Sean McVay is going to be a crazy lifer NFL coach. Like, he's going to be really good. They still got a good chunky years left. And if these Niners stay healthy, a lot of young talent there too. Very, very huge upside there. I think the teams I think the problem right now with the NFC is those dominant teams are on the decline. Packers are only getting older. Aaron Rodgers is only getting older. Same with Drew Brees. So it's almost like the paradigm shift is imminent there. And we'll see, probably one of those NFC West teams become the cream. But even in the NFC East, they got some fighters. I think Washington and the Giants specifically, they'll give you games. There's a lot of upside. There's a lot of potential there. Daniel Jones, I don't super love him, but he seems to be doing all right. And you guys got a good coach there. I think you guys are happy with your situation and are on the come up there. Got a lot of good young talent. And the same with Washington. If they can get like a franchise QB in there, they got pieces. Gibson's really good for them. Scary Terry, crazy receiver. And if they can keep that front somewhat intact, they'll scare people down the line. So I think right now the AFC is clearly the power conference. I'm excited to see, like, 3-4 years time, the Tuas, the Josh Allens, the Kylers, the Justin Herberts, and those teams and the Giants, these teams and organizations, and how they change the power dynamic as that old guard of Rodgers, Brady, Breeze, Phillip Rivers even kind of fade away. And then you get more of that, like, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are here to stay. And they're like the first advent of that wave. But a lot of these young guys are going to be a lot of fun to see, and I'm very eager to see that. But yeah, AFC I think has the edge right now, and I think while those other teams grow and develop, the Chiefs are probably going to grab a couple Super Bowl titles in that time. But once they fully come full circle, it's going to be a lot of fun. Probably one of the more fun NFL dynamics we've seen in a while. So I'm excited for it. Any other thoughts or anything to piggyback off of? I went off there a little bit.
No. I think you were pretty spot on a lot of it. I would love to just throw a little caution where I've been hearing a lot around the NFL, like these the pundits with Justin Herbert. He's amazing, great, this and that. Listen, he's good. Let's take caution a little bit, okay? The guy is lucky enough to be behind. They've been building that offensive line, and the Chargers have been building the offensive. the offensive line is so important. Just look at teams. Listen, look at Dallas. Me personally, Dak Prescott is an average quarterback. He's an average quarterback. But you put an average quarterback behind a great offensive line, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, this guy is the next thing since sliced bread. Let's see what he is, okay? Let's see what he can do. You start looking down the line. Tua. Tua is another guy. Everybody's, oh, this guy, Tua, he's doing great. He's great. They don't have the greatest offensive line, and it's showing. You know, he's already hurt. You look at the teams that have the building blocks for a successful team.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect example is the Cardinals. I think Kyler Murray. You put Murray behind. Who's got the best offensive line right now? Let's say put him in front of Tennessee right now, because another quarterback who's an average quarterback, Tannehill. He's an average quarterback with an amazing running back, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, this guy!" They were ready to run him out of the league a couple of years ago. Now all of a sudden he's the next best thing. It's just, look at these quarterbacks. You take it with a grain of salt. Some of them are just lucky enough to have that great offensive line, to have the weapon. So I said, I hate seeing people just jumping on these bandwagons saying, "Oh, this guy's the next thing. This guy's the next thing." I just say, take caution.
That was a little Nickelback-esque there, I thought of when you were like, look at these quarterbacks. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. But, Cox, do you have something to say on that?
No, I mean, yeah, you definitely want to see them continue going forward with how they've started. But I think the overall outlook on these younger quarterbacks is encouraging. I feel like we haven't had this many hot items all be so young in quite a long time. I feel like we were worried a little bit of, oh, well, who's the next bunch of quarterbacks once Brady or all these guys leave? And we're seeing it now. Burrow, Herbert, Tua, you still got to see if they're going to develop into those long-term, but the prospects are there. And there's a lot of prospects.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be some good ones that come out. It just has to.
I just see the word genius or this guy's special. He's listen. Let him get through a full season before you want to start throwing him in the category of a Joe Montana. He's special. Tom Brady in his day, special. Listen, I don't think we haven't seen a draft like. Listen, if you want to think about players that are playing, or Eli Manning just retired, but look at that draft. Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, those guys, the streak that they're still, there's Eli retired, but he was the Iron Man. He played. Roethlisberger. This is the year before this where he got hurt. Was the first year where you ever saw, wow, Roethlisberger's out. He's not playing. He's always playing through injuries. Phillip Rivers is still doing it. Let's take it easy. We're like crowning these guys. They're like, it's just crazy to me. Everybody needs to take a chill. We seem to fall into the whole. We follow the media way too much nowadays.
Yeah, caught up in the moment
where they say, "Oh, this guy's the next thing," and yeah, he is. Relax, Yeah,
100%. For argument's sake and for fun. For both of you, I want 5 years' time. Who are the top 3 QBs in the league? Either one you can start.
Out of the new crop?
Just generally, fast forward 5 years. Who are the 3 best QBs in the league?
Interesting.
Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and someone not in the league.
You think so?
Interesting.
Yep. All right, Mario.
A la Trevor Lawrence.
Potentially so.
Yeah. No, I definitely Mahomes as being around for a long time. I don't want to go into that hole where somebody who's not in the league right now, so I'm not even going to do that. But I am going to say I like Mahomes. I do like. I want to say. I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna say Daniel Jones. I know a lot of people aren't really. I like Daniel Jones. I think Kyler Murray is another one, and I think Herbert. I do like him. I just hate how crown these guys after one season. Like even with Daniel Jones, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but he fumbled the ball or the ball was knocked out. Listen, people don't give him credit enough. He had the worst offensive line in football. His first 2 seasons, the worst offensive line in football. Look at the stats. He was hit more than any other quarterback. He was rushed more than any other quarterback. So I'm fuck it. I'm going out there. I'm going to say it.
I love it. I love the confidence. I love the swagger. That's really great. I am gonna go Patrick Mahomes. I think that's a gimme. In a lot of ways. I like what I'm seeing from him. I know it's early to crown him or whatever, but I really like what I'm seeing from him. So give me Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert.
Okay.
I think those are the guys. I think, Burrow could be that. I'm worried that Burrow gets into like a Tebow situation where he was great in college, but doesn't translate. There are a lot of guys like that. I don't think Burrow's that, but that's all dependent on how his leg
Yeah, I think it's more just depending upon. I think you saw that. I'm not a Tebow. Tebow was
right.
Yeah, he was a system quarterback in college.
Yeah,
and where I see people saying, where you have the quarterback from Cincy and you have a Daniel Jones, where this is his first year in Cincy. Look at the talent he has around him compared to what Jones has around him right now. Lee, Green.
yeah.
I mean, they have talent behind him. The fact that this guy is doing it without that talent, it's got to say something. It's got to say something. So it's like, listen, I'm a homer. I don't care. I'm a homer. I watch this team. I fought with friends over this guy. I see the talent. It's just a matter of getting that offensive line, getting some pieces around him. I say Kyler Murray, Mahomes. Give me Daniel Jones, and if I'm wrong, shit, I'll drink this whole fucking bottle.
Ooh.
I'll save it.
5 years from now, I'll remember. I'm gonna give a dark horse shout out to Jordan Love.
okay.
They have.
I don't think yeah.
They have a history there the last 30 odd years in friggin' Green Bay of transitioning to the right guy who does well.
It's a good question. They were just talking about it the other day on the Fan in New York. They were just talking about this whole situation with him, and it's going to be interesting because you figure Rodgers is what 36, 37 right now. 37. He's having an amazing year. He's going to have a good year next year. If he struggles, I can see them trying to put him in, but they're going to have to pick up that option. They're going to have to pick up that third-year option on Love. And if Aaron Rodgers is trucking along, what do you do?
I mean, they kicked Favre out while he was still doing pretty well. They're not afraid to pull the trigger, as we've seen in the past.
Different regime, though. It's a different regime in there now.
Yeah, we'll see. I think I could totally see it almost being a Brady situation where they take the aging QB and like he goes to a contender or something. Like,
no, it's a good point.
It's a
Definitely
thought,
great
but
point.
I get 5 years down the line. I don't think Rodgers has 5 left.
Yeah, and I agree with you, but it's not even about 5 years. It's 3 years. You're going to have to pick up that option on Love.
Yeah.
Is he going to have the opportunity to show you that he's worth that?
Right.
Is he going to get in a game and show you that? What are you going to have this year? You didn't have it because we didn't have preseason. But next year, God willing, we have preseason. He shows you something. But right now, I mean, if things are the way they are right now, how do you go out on a limb? And if Rodgers is playing like Rodgers, how do you do it? You know?
Yeah, right. I think the argument is if playoff seeding's locked up, they might trot him out week 17. Make sure Rodgers doesn't get hurt, and that they get a litmus test like the Chiefs did with Mahomes, and if they see something, they see that it.
Love to see it. I'd love
Alex
to see
Smith them.
I'd love to see it.
It could happen, but
hey,
I think
I'm in there.
I think the league's in a really good spot with its mix of current talent and young up and comers and things like that. And I think it'll be cool to see going forward. Any parting words, boys?
No. Bucks, fix your offense.
Cardinals, fix everything. Be more disciplined.
Giants, be careful with Daniel Jones. Sit him out this week. Fuck the Seahawks. If we win, we win. If not, we come back strong with him against the Cardinals and make a run. Also, Jason, feel better.
Yeah.
I know when my wife's on her period, she gets that headache. So
I'm gonna have to make sure he
it's
watches this.
a high flow. If it's a high flow day, I get it.
Oh God, hilarious!
Oh, I was not expecting that.
That was awesome. Best wishes to Jay. As we always sign off, we hope your team wins. Unless they're playing one of our teams, then we hope we wipe the floor with you. But we all hope you have a wonderful week of football, and we'll see you all next week, hopefully at full strength and full power with all the crew. But thank you guys for joining me as always. I'll see you guys next week, and we'll see you all next week. Have a good one. Catch you all later.
Ta-ta for now.